Hola, 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 hola. ¿Qué tal? Espero que todos estéis bien. A ver que me coloco aquí ya. Y voy a comprobar los audios del directo. Bueno, primero tengo que recargar la página porque esto no funciona como debería. Y parece ser que el audio está perfectamente. Así que vamos a cambiar por aquí y vamos a empezar el directo de una vez por todas. Para hacer la misión de personaje de Yunli. También vino con esta actualización y es lo último que nos queda por hacer. Ya hice lo de los cubos de basura, las peleas eran simplemente peleas y ya está. En plan te aparecía un personaje y en plan de, oh, viene un personaje, poder de la amistad, pelea, bien, y ya está. Tampoco era tan complicado, ¿verdad? Tenías que utilizar a los personajes que te ponían y todo, bastante guay. Y no mucho más, la verdad, no había mucho más que destacar. Es bastante gracioso que el cubo de basura tuviese el dibujo del personaje con el que estabas haciendo el poder de la amistad. Pero vamos, todo correcto. Y aquí empieza.
Ever since March started learning swordplay from Yenqing and Yunli, her voice has been absent on the Express. I wonder how well she's progressing. Where has she been these days?
Y tenemos a Yunli. Asiste 7 de marzo, no vine a entrenar. ¿Quién es 7 de marzo? ¿Por qué no le escribes? ¿Viste algún mensaje? No lo he visto tampoco. No contesta mis mensajes. Si no puedo encontrar el 7 de marzo, no me queda más remedio que buscar a su tutor. Y ese eres tú. No soy su tutor. Primero que quede claro, yo no soy el tutor de mazo. Puedes buscar al señor Yang o Himeko. Si no, puedes buscar al ángel. Son demasiados nombres, no puedo recordarlos. Ay, pero tengo órdenes de enseñarle a manejar la espada. Ella podrá saltarse las clases, pero yo no puedo saltarme mis obligaciones. Tenemos que hablar sobre el comportamiento de esa niña tuya, Siro. Hagamos esto, ven a buscarme a Callejón Aurum, te espero. Ah, bueno, vale. Ya está. ¡Qué bien! Espadas en arados. Pues nada, vamos a ello. Bastante rápido, ¿no? Ya me van a echar broma. Ni siquiera es mi culpa esta vez. Esta vez. Podrían echarme la bronca en muchas situaciones diferentes, pero en esta la verdad es que lo veo innecesario. Está por aquí, aquí está. Hola, Yunli.
Ah, there you are. I was looking around before you got here. I already looked everywhere, but March 7th is nowhere to be found.
Tal vez 7 de marzo estén...
Forget it. Let's just assume she successfully skipped class. Actually, she's been quite diligent in her swordplay practice and hasn't taken many breaks lately. I think she deserves a day off.
¿Por qué viene a regañarme?
Besides, I used to skip classes even more than her back when I was still learning. If I was in the mood, I could train for 3 days straight. But if I wasn't in the mood, none of my seniors could find me.
Vaya.
So, I can understand where she's coming from.
Entonces, ¿puedo irme?
No need. I asked you to come, so I won't send you away empty-handed.
¿De verdad? ¿No puedo irme?
Since you're here, let me treat you to some tasty food.
Bien, comida
I'm more
gratis.
interested in you today.
Uy, ¿yo qué te interesa?
Let's walk and talk.
Bueno, vale. Vamos a caminar con... Ay, qué extraño me resulta,
Misha told me there's tasty food in Arum Alley. Let's go there.
Solo quería comer esta persona acompañada y ya está, ¿eh? No, a mí no me engañan.
A table for two, please.
All right, come on in. What would you like?
Well, we'll have one of everything on the menu.
The entire menu?
Madre mía.
Do you think it'll be enough?
Creo que es demasiado. Me preocupa que no podamos acabarnos todo.
Oh, don't worry. There are two of us.
Y te mira con seguridad. Que tiene esta como estómago, un pozo negro.
Well, then I'll start making a few dishes, and if you need more, just let me know.
Thank you.
Por así, ¿no? Ir pasando los platos. Y así... ¿Sueles comer mucho?
Yeah. I mean, not too much, actually.
Ya.
Grandpa said to never be stingy when it comes to making friends. So, how big is your appetite?
Mi estómago es un pozo sin fondo. La verdad es que sí, pero tampoco es para comerme el menú entero.
Then eat to your heart's content.
¿Estás segura que no necesitamos buscar
No,
más?
I've thought about it. She deserves a day off.
Ah, dijiste que estabas interesado en
Well,
mí.
to be more precise, I'm interested in your sword.
¿Qué espada?
Yanqing mentioned you before. He said that you're not to be underestimated, and that your weapon has a unique
Es un bat
shape.
de béisbol, sí, tiene una forma única.
So, I've always been curious about your sword. How the weight is distributed, what material it's made of, whether it contains any special ingenia, and what kind of sword techniques you use.
No es una espada, es un bate de béisbol.
Seriously? A bat?
Sí. ¿Aún tienes curiosidad?
Yeah, now more than ever.
Colocas tu querido bate y tu fiel compañero, quizá en segundo lugar después de Marco, Dan, Welf y Mekong, ante la mirada de Yunli. El resto de tus compañeros.
So, it really is a baseball bat.
¿Y por qué? No lo sabemos, pero es
He
diálogo.
said that a sword doesn't have to be constrained by its shape. So, in a sense, your bat is a sword too. He also said that a weapon mimics its master. So, your bat actually reflects your habits and nature, you know?
¿Nos está llamando agresivos o pacíficos? No sé.
Let me guess. You're someone who doesn't follow the rules, enjoys improvising, and can handle yourself well against tough foes. Am I right?
Y que pues siempre sigo las reglas. Me has dejado grabado en secreto.
Amazing, right? And I bet you always say something silly like, rules are made to be broken.
Sí, efectivamente,
I've come
justamente
across
dices.
so many sword wielders who acted all righteous and moral, but were really just liars. Their swords always told the truth, though. They told me that their wielders were just a bunch of frauds who relied on their divine weapons for everything. I've hunted down hundreds of swords like this so far, and every single one of them has been melted down.
Pero tomar las espadas de las personas a la fuerza y las...
Yes, but only for those who cross the line. Melting their swords is my way of protecting those weapons. But just looking at a sword is not enough. Grandpa always says, words and expressions can be deceiving, but in a fight to the death, a sword's movements never lie. The war dance is just around the corner. You'll be participating, right?
Probablemente nos obligan a participar en la
Miss
siguiente.
Yunli, for talented sword masters like you, the war dance is a perfect opportunity to show off your skills and make a name for yourself. But for people like him, who have already made significant contributions to the Xianzhou, they maybe don't need to prove themselves on the war dance stage.
Uy,
It has been a while, Mr. Nameless.
no me acuerdo de quién eres.
And you are?
Ah, la secretaria de Yura. Oh, vale, ahora ya sí me acuerdo de quién es.
Thank you for your introduction, Mr. Nameless. I'm Shi Kuei, and I work in the Palace of Astrum as the secretary for the Helmmaster. I apologize for interrupting your conversation. I happened to hear you discussing the war dance. And since this person is an old acquaintance, I thought I'd come and say hello.
¿Vas a hospedar a alguien? ¿Sí?
Yes, with the war dance approaching, many guests from afar are pouring in. Mr. Pavo here is one of them. He's from the distant planet Kalevala.
Vale, Pablo.
Mr. Pavo's planet recently joined the Pan-Cosmic Trade System. He brought his delegation here this time, not only for business, but also to return something that belongs to the Xianzhou.
Algo que
Miss
pareces.
Shikue, the word gift is perhaps more fitting than return. While it did once belong to the Xianzhou, we faced many tribulations to be able to deliver it here, so it should be considered a gift.
I apologize for my poor choice of words. Mr. Pavo's delegation brought a legendary Xianzhou sword that had been lost for centuries.
No será esta la espada que va a
General
entregar el
Huayan
otro.
plans to personally thank them at the Palace of Astrum and present the sword as a prize to the champion of the war dance.
Efectivamente, esa es espada.
Mr. Pavo and I were actually on our way there.
Interesante, interesante.
Since you two were talking so enthusiastically about the war dance, maybe you'd be interested in joining us at the Palace of Astrum?
Sí, sí quiero. Vamos a hablar con Pavo.
Nice to meet you both. The journey to the Xianzhou Laofu wasn't an easy one, but the scenery here is worth it. It's completely different from my homeland. Once the formalities at the Palace of Astrum are finished, I'll find a quiet spot on this street and plant a seedling, and then my mission will be complete. The Sword of Heroes will finally be returned to its rightful owners. I couldn't be happier.
Hablemos de Kalevala.
Oh, you're interested in my home planet? That's great. Your Excellency is welcome to visit us at any time.
Nos llaman excelencia.
Even though the trade route just opened, it still might take around 200 system hours to get there from Pier Point. But our planet is really great. Sure, it's a bit cold and the food is a bit repetitive and our houses aren't as fancy as those on Pier Point, but that doesn't matter. We've discovered massive supernium deposits, and we're on the path to prosperity.
Hablemos de la espada.
Oh, you mean the Mieka Kivesa? It's an incredible sword. That weapon helped the legendary heroes of my homeland slay demons, and is highly revered. It also has the power to choose monarchs. All the ancient kings of Kalevala received a sign from the sword, showing they were worthy to rule the land.
Okay.
According to tradition, each monarch would plunge the sword into a stone, and only a hero recognized by the sword could pull it out and ascend to the throne next.
Oh, interesante. ¿Tiene algún tipo de tecnología biológica?
Well, those are just legends from the past. No one today has witnessed it firsthand.
Que no se quedan con la espada.
Well, times have changed, and now that we have a council in place, the idea of a sword crowning a king has become a joke. Besides, it wasn't a native of Kalevala who last pulled out the sword and recognized its connection to the Xianzhou ship. It was a visitor from afar. While the sword holds great historical significance for Kalevala, it doesn't truly belong to our world. The old-timers on council had a heated debate about whether to return the sword. They eventually unanimously agreed to let the Mieka Kivesa return to where it truly belongs. That's the best possible outcome.
Sí, también seré testigo de eso.
Wonderful. It's an honor to have so many people witness the sword's homecoming.
Hala.
Let's head to the Palace of Astrum together.
Pues sincero, no me interesa la espada. Me encantaría echarle un vistazo a la espada
I
también.
know, right? Thanks to March 7 skipping class, we get to join in on the fun. Grandpa always asks me to go look at swords with him, but he hasn't said anything about this one. It's really weird. But now that we're invited, let's go and check it out.
Venga, sí.
This haven of memories. Every touch, every moment.
There you are. Come on, let's go to the ceremony together.
Vamos. Oh, mira, ¿quién está aquí? ¿Qué hace aquí Argenti?
Please allow me to offer a sincere compliment, my fair lady. Your beauty is as pure as a snow-white iris. Well, if it isn't my dear friend! Glad to meet you again.
Who is this weirdo?
¿Quién es este bebé?
Who is this knight?
I am Argenti, a member of the Knights of Beauty. I was invited as a part of the Kalevala delegation to escort the legendary Mieka Kivesa back to the Xianzhou.
Oh,
May I have the honor of knowing your name?
My name is Yunli.
What a beautiful name. I wonder if you have ever heard the holy name of the pure and flawless goddess Adrilla.
Oh, you're here, Yunli. Didn't expect you to be so well informed. Well, now that you're here, don't forget your manners.
Manners. Come on. You won't find another granddaughter as polite and well-behaved as me.
Well, just remember this is a very serious ceremony. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Mr. Pavo. Now, let the sword-gifting ceremony begin.
Before the ceremony officially commences, I want to express my gratitude to the Knight Argenti.
y la sacó
Thank you for
Argenti.
enlightening us about the sword's origin, and for escorting it here safely so that we may complete this ceremony.
Aplausos.
On behalf of the Kalevalan delegation, I, Pavel Kalistaya, am here to return the legendary Mieka Kivesa to the Xianzhou Alliance, its rightful homeland.
I'm truly grateful for Kalevala's noble act of returning the sword and for the Knight of Beauty's chivalry. Now, as we gather here on the Xianzhou Luofu, I officially welcome the sword back to its homeland. Mieka Kivesa. It's a fitting name for a sword with such a legendary past. I still remember the name engraved on this sword the day it was forged. Guyin. It was forged by Hangguang, a craftsman from the Zhu Ming's Pyrojaya Forge.
Wait. Hangguang?
Although its blade is worn and cracked, its essence remains as resilient as the Xianzhou Cloud Knights. All it needs is some repairs and polishing by the skilled craftsmen of the Artisanship Commission to regain its former glory. I've decided to entrust this sword, Guyin, to the Luofu Artisanship Commission for restoration. Furthermore, it will serve as the prize for the champion of the Luofu War Dance. This sword will be wielded against abominations to protect our homeland and live up to the mission of the Kalevalan delegation that returned it from so far away.
Thank you, General. It is an honor for Kalevala.
Now, esteemed knight and delegation members, please head to the Artisanship Commission, where...
No! This sword was forged by Hangguang.
Yunli! These esteemed guests have brought back your father's last work.
Ostras.
Where are your manners?
Oh, I didn't realize this sword was actually forged by your father. Returning it to its rightful owner is,
Grandpa, give me that cursed sword right now. I'll melt away the remnants of that man's curse once and for all.
¿Una espada maldita? No mate yo.
Don't be rude, Yunli. Apologize to our esteemed guests from afar.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making a scene. But I have to melt down this cursed sword. I won't let it fall into anyone else's hands.
Yunli, please, go for now.
¿En ti está pensando?
This is exactly why I didn't want Yunli to know about this. I didn't want to create trouble, but trouble found its way here anyway. Perhaps it really is divine intervention. Could you, please, keep an eye on Yunli for me?
Pues nada, vamos a vigilar a Yunli. Por supuesto, me aseguraré que no se metan por...
That is a tall order, but I'm counting on you. I apologize for the unfortunate interruption. Let us move on with the ceremony.
Ante la ferviente petición de Huai Yang, sales por un momento del Palacio Astro. ¿Pero qué pasa con su padre para
Unless I'm mistaken, Yunli should be around here
confundirlos, ¿no?
somewhere.
Nothing in this report makes sense.
¿Dónde está? Me he perdido. Ah, vale, pero ahí en algún lado, vale. León de piedra. Ah, mira, aquí está. Oh, Yunli. Me va un poco más.
Stop watching me
Deja de mirarme y
and
algo.
say something.
Hola, Coffee. Si mi pajo la echaron de Honkai. ¿Cómo? ¿Qué pasa, Yunli?
Did Grandpa send you to look for me? I bet he did.
De hecho, estoy aquí porque me importas.
Really? Thank you.
Macho de meme, nada más. Ah, vale.
Just so you know, I'm here just waiting for the perfect moment to snatch that sword. And once I have it, I'll melt it down before anyone can react. Don't even think about stopping me.
Pues a ver, su
No
contexto
one can stop me.
actualmente es que la espada que van a entregar como premio del torneo este que va a haber, la forjó su padre. Y no sé por qué dice que está maldita y que tiene que fundir. Y su abuelo le ha dicho, no, fuera. Y ya está, y está aquí llorando. Ese es todo el contexto. ¿Me puedo ayudarte si me explicas lo que está pasando?
Grandpa sent you here. Surely he doesn't want you to help me. Have you heard of cursed swords? That sword is one.
No, es que no sé cuál es el... ¿Qué pasa con el padre? Ni por qué dice que la espada que forjó está maldita y tiene que fundirla para que la maldición se vaya a la mierda. No lo entiendo. Una espada que fue maldecida.
I guess that's what it means, literally. A cursed sword lets anyone, even a complete novice, wield it with insane skill. Just by holding the hilt, even the weakest rookie can brandish it with incredible speed and strength.
¿Dónde puedo comprar una? Bueno, como eso 7 de marzo podría graduarse.
I'm not joking around. And I'm not making up some crazy story.
Bueno.
While a cursed sword grants instant abilities to its wielder, it comes at a cost. It's like continuously adding fuel to the forge. With each swing, the sword drains the wielder's blood and essence. Day by day, the fuel will run out, leaving nothing but an empty husk. Soon enough, it will no longer be a person wielding a sword, but a mindless, killing machine, consumed by bloodlust and murderous thoughts.
Es una extremadamente familiar.
I wonder if you've ever heard of a creature called a heliobus. It loves to feed on human emotions and memories, and excels at manipulating its hosts. There was a lunatic swordsmith who infused metal blades with heliobi.
What?
as he was obsessed with turning weapons into living things. And this is how cursed swords were made.
Vale, ahora tiene sentido porque quiere destruir. ¿Es tus padres y un Eridus dentro de esa espada?
I know, I shouldn't have caused a scene at the sword gifting ceremony. But I've thought this through. If I don't make a fuss now, that cursed sword will cause a whole lot more trouble. So it's better if it's me causing the trouble. By the way, aren't they supposed to be taking the sword to the Artisanship Commission for repairs? Why haven't they come out yet? Any ideas?
Todavía hay otras formas de salir del colegio.
Looks like they're not going to show up here. I'll just head straight to the Artisanship Commission. It doesn't matter why Grandpa chose that sword. I won't let it fall into anyone else's hands. I'll track down every single sword he forged and melt them down one after another.
Vaya.
Just like I've been doing all these years. I have to go now.
Nada, vamos a
Is she
seguir.
planning to sneak into the Artisanship Commission and steal that sword?
Sí, eso ha dicho. Vamos también, detrás de ella. Ay, vamos a meternos en líos, porque es lo único que podemos hacer.
The Artisanship Commission is so big. Where could she be?
Vamos a preguntarle a estos señores a ver si lo han visto.
Just a while ago, a girl came up to me, all fierce and demanding directions. She said she's a member of the Artisanship Commission. Do you know her?
No idea who she is. If she really works here, how can she not know her way around?
La conozco, es de la Comisión de Artesanía del Summing Desierto.
Oh, I see. That explains it then.
Explains what? It explains nothing at all.
She said something like, I'm a member of the Artisanship Commission. Where do you keep your precious stuff? I got scared and pointed her toward Master Gongshu's warehouse, where he stores his aromatons.
Wait, why did you give her directions? What if she's planning to steal something?
Veamos al grano, ¿dónde fue?
Where else? Like I said, she was headed straight for the warehouse, where all the valuable aromatons are.
Sí, gracias, pero dame indicaciones más
That
precisas.
place is filled with Master Gongshu's precious aromatons. I bet they'll give her a hard time.
Good quality, good price.
Vale, vale.
Free charter.
A ver, tenemos que ir hasta aquí. Uy, ¿qué es esto? La guía de Leus que está desarrollando comisión de testería. Disparar la de guía de Leus. Ahora gusta la ruta. No sé, pero parece algún minijuego. Quiero hacerlo. Ah, mira, ahí está Yunli. Destrozando auromatas.
What are you doing here? Look, if I get into trouble, it's my problem.
Ya
I
estoy
don't want to
arrastrado.
drag you into it.
Tarde. Te doy vuelo que te veo aquí.
Fine. Let's smash these metal cans first. Then we can talk.
¿Por qué no? La verdad es que sí, la voz del prota es como... Me gusta mucho la voz del prota.
Is that all?
I'll see you off.
Destined for oblivion.
Bueno.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
Nothing major. Receive divinity.
Eternal sleep.
The dead return!
This ends here.
Así que es un minuto útil. Sí, básicamente.
A will forged in ice never falters!
Destined.
Ill tidings manifest. Beneath the waters lies an endless abyss.
Again.
Mind your manners.
Bueno,
still waters of oblivion.
Congeladito. Ajá.
I weep for the departed.
Y ya está.
It too shall fall.
Ah. Me gusta mucho la ulti de Hero. A ver qué nos tiene que decir ahora Yunli.
That was the last of them. Thank you for helping me out. This place is heavily guarded, but there's nothing but arumatons. Where is the arsenal? Seems like not even those craftsmen know where the arsenal is. At this rate, we won't find anything. And Grandpa might take me away before I can do anything. You're
Nunca
not
habrá
really here to
sido
help me.
Cisne Negro.
You're here to stop me, right?
Pero no puedo darme nada y ver cómo te metes.
You have a kind soul. But if you want to stop me, you'll have to prove yourself.
Pues nada. ¿Quieres
You
pelea?
probably think I'm being impulsive and unreasonable, right?
Creo que estás muy obsesionada con las espadas malditas.
No, really. Do I come across that way?
Apetito.
Well, I guess I can't deny it.
Lo admite, ¿sabes? Parece que es un tema sensible.
You're sharp. Yeah. You could say it's a sensitive topic.
¿Por qué no me cuentas toda la historia? Por favor y gracias.
Look. I owe you an explanation. But this isn't the best place to talk. We need to find somewhere else. Let me be clear, though. I'm still pretty riled up. This is just a temporary break. I already told you about Guyan.
Nos sentamos ahí.
The sword that was returned during the ceremony. It's a cursed sword, with a heliobus inside. And Hongguang, the swordsmith who forged it, is my father. I rarely mention his name to anyone other than Grandpa. Maybe, like you said, I've been avoiding having to talk about him. But as long as my mission to hunt down cursed swords continues, it's impossible to avoid the topic forever. For some reason, I feel like I can open up to you. Honestly, I don't remember much about him.
Mira qué mona.
All I know is that the Pyrogyre Forge used to be a bustling place, with people from all over coming to get one of his swords. They called him the greatest master craftsman since Yingxing. I didn't catch all the details, but I do remember seeing him forge those amazing swords, while the visitors watched with smiles on their faces. I used to believe that craftsmen brought happiness to others. The swords crafted by the Pyrogyre Forge are famed across the stars. They possess exceptional sharpness and invincibility. With these legendary weapons, even ordinary people can become skilled warriors, capable of overcoming the most formidable opponents. But then, he became obsessed with becoming a famed swordsmith, and started crossing all sorts of lines. He forged cursed swords that should never exist. And all those people who desired those twisted swords started flooding into the palace. However, just like Grandpa said, those who excel with the sword will eventually suffer by it. The palace was overrun with visitors from afar. Some left empty-handed. Others got swords that didn't fulfill their desires. And some even resorted to stealing. And in the midst of all the chaos my father created, he ended up being stabbed by one of the swords he forged. It was so sudden and unexpected. Everything went silent for a moment. All I could hear was the sound of bones breaking and blood pouring out. I was frozen in place, unable to move. It was only when my mother pushed me away from the deadly swing of the cursed sword that I managed to escape. I don't remember much after that, except for the pounding of my heart and the sound of my own gasps of breath. I could hear the smiths in the Pyrogyre forge shouting, "Run away, Yunli!" And the screams of agony. My tears wouldn't stop. And I couldn't see anything. I kept gasping for air until I collapsed in a pool of blood. If General Huayan hadn't arrived in time, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you now. After that, General Huayan took me in and treated me like his own granddaughter. To me, he is 100 times better than my sinful father. He taught me forging and swordsmanship. Han Guang paid for his sins, but his troubled legacy must not go unchecked. According to the records, he forged a total of 1,382 Heliobus cursed swords, and 182 of them had unique designs. When I joined the Pyrogyre Forge for training, I made a vow to hunt down all those cursed swords. So far, I found 312 of them, and Guyan will be my 313th. Like all the other cursed swords, I'll separate it from the Heliobus. Then, I'll melt it down and make it part of the Blade of Forged Remnants. I've said my piece now. Even though it'll be tough for Grandpa, I still have to melt down the sword.
A ver, inmoral, pecador. Van por la misma línea. No es exactamente lo mismo, pero van por la misma. Pero la delación la llama la espada de los héroes.
Those travelers who came seeking Han Guang's swords all came in the name of justice and honor. Most of those so-called great heroes were heartless killers. They are only called heroes because they won.
Tiene sentido.
Many of the cursed swords I've destroyed had honorable and grand names, too. A legendary sword and a butcher's knife are often just different ways of describing the same thing. Somehow, after talking to you, I feel like I've cooled off a bit. Well, I'll have an honest conversation with Grandpa tomorrow. And I won't take any action against Guyan until he gives me his reasons. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that in a public place. Anyway, thank you. We'll catch up tomorrow.
Ya está.
I should go back to the Palace of Astrum and tell General Huayan what happened at the Artisanship Commission.
Bueno, yo quería hacerlo de esta cosa. ¿Qué? ¿Joder, por acá? ¿Es para donde quería ir? Sí, es para donde quería ir. Perfecto. ¿Dónde está la cosa esa que yo quiero hacer? A ver, ¿qué tienes para mí? ¿Hay alguna prueba de armamento ahí? Vamos a generar perfecto. Adelante. Dame. Dame que yo lo quiero. Es... A ver, esto tiene que ir por acá. Antihorario. Horario. ¿Eh? Quiero ver qué hacen estas bolas de aquí. No lo entiendo. Ah, tengo que romperlas. Ok. Pero, ¿cómo voy a romperla de aquí arriba? Mover. Amigo. Órale. Amigo. Vale. Esta la movemos. Y esta... Ponemos para acá. Ah, pero ¿y esta? ¿A dónde va a ir? Aquí solo rompo dos, ¿no? Ni siquiera rompo dos. Qué lástima. Pues... Eh... Estoy yo muy seguro. No puede ser. Ah. Y esto. Pero este no le da. Se va para acá. Entonces. ¿Sí? No tiene sentido. Hola, puntitos. Tal. Y aquí. Y aquí. Y aquí, pero este no puede darle a las dos. Que no tiene sentido. No. Y aquí no le va a dar con esto. No le da, efectivamente. Tendría que estar aquí sí o sí. Hola, Master. ¿Qué tal? El mock y el espejo. Pues no sé. ¿Sabes? A ver, ¿cómo puedo hacer esto? Vaya. Este no puede... No puedo. Espera. Antihorario. Horario. Y este... Horario. Horario. Creo que así sí puedo. A ver. Ahí. Completado. Y
Don't forget to let your friends in on the action.
dame más pruebas. Adelante. Yo tendría que estar haciendo otra cosa, pero no pasa nada. A ver, ¿dónde está el...? ¿Qué? No. Entonces tendremos que mover esto. De aquí a ahí. ¿Puedo hacer esto simplemente y que vaya bien? No, porque no llega hasta allí. Lástima. Vale, horario. Aquí. Espero que si llegues ahí. Pero no tendría sentido. ¿Verdad? No, no va a llegar allí. ¡Ah! ¿Cuánto me dio el bus? ¿Cómo que no le saludé? Si sí le he saludado. He saludado a él y a Master. Después de que le saludaras tú. ¿Qué me estás diciendo de que no le he saludado? Otra cosa es que me haya escuchado, que no me haya escuchado porque se ha ido. Me vais a echar a mí la culpa de que no le he saludado. Ala. Encima. ¿Cómo que no? Mira, me enojo, ¿eh? Pero es que así no voy a poder hacerlo. O sí. Y hago así. Muevo. No, ahora me enojo contigo. No te voy a dar ningún hijo. Ala. No quería moverla. Ahora esto para arriba. Mover. Y esto debería estar así. Espero que esté así bien. Estoy enfadado contigo, puntitos, por lo que me has dicho. Quiero más. Quiero más pruebas. Bastante. A ver, empezamos aquí. Me alegro de que estés bastante feliz ahora mismo. No sé qué... Si puedo hacer esto. Puedo tirar un tirario. Puedo intuir por qué. ¿A que no te lo esperabas? No, horario no entiendo. Y creo que esto está así bien. A ver, vamos a probar. ¡Nice! A la primera. Tengo así. Valioso. ¿Y tengo más? No, no tengo más. Nada, vamos a seguir con la historia. Sí, ¿verdad? Bueno, pero que me haya pedido que te haya pedido que me diga sola de su parte, no tiene por qué implicar que estar ahí con esa persona sea por lo que estás feliz, porque podrías no estar feliz por ello, por otros motivos.
My granddaughter didn't cause
Bien,
any
¿qué tal tú,
trouble,
Master?
did she, young man?
A ver, vamos a explicar la situación al señor. Explicas con detalle lo que pasó y la expresión nerviosa de Wei Yan se aleja
Sorry
un
for
poco.
all this trouble. Yunli told you quite a bit. Now it's time for this old man to tell my side of the story. Han Guang was my beloved disciple. A rare genius not seen in the Pyrogyre Forge since Yingxing. However, talent can sometimes be a curse. He had an unusual fervor for forging, and he dreamed of forging a sword with self-awareness that surpassed that of humans. He believed it would make warriors invincible without any training. According to him, while weapons of mass destruction like Ju-Ming flames and alchemical arrows can destroy many enemies, true victory lies with soldiers who fearlessly fight, ready to lay their lives on the line. Usually, Xianzhou swordsmiths infuse a basic level of awareness into their swords to make them easier to wield. But even then, soldiers need to experience countless battles to overcome fear and sharpen their instincts. So...
Yo quiero salir el bus para absorber las emociones.
By infusing Heliobi into swords, he managed to forge weapons that could grant their wielders strength and valor, and even make decisions for them. However, weapons are different from regular tools. They are meant to kill, plain and simple. After countless battles, all the anger, fear, and bloodlust are soaked up by the Heliobi within the swords. The soldiers wielding them not only gain strength, but they also become consumed by the malice, turning them into puppets possessed by the swords. No matter how noble Han Guang's intentions were, those weapons, soaked in blood, turned into cursed swords eventually. Later, Outworlders got wind of what he was doing and encouraged him to keep forging cursed swords. They came up with all sorts of reasons, from taking back their kingdoms to slaying demons. And you know what happened next. That massacre took her parents' lives, and the lives of many craftsmen in the Pyrogyre Forge. Yunli managed to survive, but she couldn't escape the horrors of that day.
A ver, no es que esté adelantando contenido, porque la persona con la que suelo jugar al Honkai está de vacaciones. Así que he tenido que hacer toda la historia. Por esto de que los eventos van con tiempo y tal. Y pues nada, vamos a terminar ya todo el contenido que tiene la actualización. Y jugamos Fire Emblem cuando ya venga y seguimos con nuestra... La verdad. Hasta la siguiente actualización de Honkai, por lo menos. Bueno, por eso no querías que viera esa espada. Por todo lo que sucedió.
I don't want her to spend her whole life trapped under her father's shadow. She doesn't deserve to carry the weight of his mistakes. Despite her vow to hunt down and wipe out all cursed swords, fulfilling that vow requires immense effort. Traversing the starry seas in search of the swords is like finding a needle in a haystack. And to reclaim those swords, she has to duel the bloodthirsty wielders, teetering on the edge of life and death. She has taken back over 300 cursed swords, and has suffered the same number of fatal wounds. I took her in to give her a chance at a normal childhood, not to send her on a sword-hunting journey. Even if she manages to melt down all the cursed swords one day, what will she do with her life after? Pueden is indeed one of the cursed swords forged by Han Guang. Very few swordsmiths could use Heliobi as forging material, and Han Guang was one of them. His attempt came at a terrible cost. I thought this sword could be an opportunity. I wanted to tell her that her father wasn't all evil, that even the man she resents so much managed to forge a true sword of heroes. I also wanted to find a chance to tell her about the history and origin of this sword, but not during the ceremony. As you saw, it wasn't a good time. I've instructed the Artisanship Commission to keep the sword safe in the arsenal. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask the people involved.
Maestro Gonsu, hay algo que tengo que hablar contigo. Instrucciones al maestro Gonsu. El general Huayan le regaló al Lufu una espada de moda. No te preocupes, el general Huayan te ha dado las instrucciones pertinentes. Sí, oí a algunos aprendices decir que no me se rompió. Espada en mano en la comisión. Luego es la nieta de gente. Me pregunto qué querrá, hablar conmigo o robarme. ¿Qué se calmó? No quiere encontrarse conmigo. No hará nada respecto a la ciudad. Aún sin haber confiado en la situación. ¿No? ¿Quieres robar la espada? No tengo edad para estos sustos. Ahora mismo un caballero de la belleza está escoltándola a la comisión de astronomía. Está a buen recaudo en el canal y no corre peligro. No te preocupes. Tenga tiempo, quiero escuchar de su propia boca por qué intentó robar la espada. Porque tiene una misión para con su padre.
Since my granddaughter mentioned talking to me tomorrow, I'll be waiting for her. By the way, you watched over her for quite some time. You must be exhausted, aren't you?
Sí, súper exhausto. Una linda chica como ella nunca me cansa. Señor protagonista. Realmente exhausto.
I'll be counting on you then.
Time to go back and find that class-skipping March 7th.
Pues nada, a buscar a 7 de marzo. Nos la vamos a encontrar fuera, en la puerta. Sería bastante jocoso encontrarnos ahora con un marzo en la puerta. Después de terminar todo, regresar al expreso. Vas a 7 de marzo cara a cara y la atrapas faltando a clase. Muy mal. Somos tu tutor legal y te estamos regañando. Tomándote con leche y chismeando, el tiempo pues se pasa volando. Al día siguiente... Pues nada, a ver qué ha pasado con la espada. Oh. Dejao. Siro, ¿estás ahí? ¿Serías tan amable de cooperar con nosotros y pasarse por la conexión? ¿Pasa algo? ¿Qué ocurre? Pocas palabras. Ayer la comisión de artesanía recibió una espada de regalo de parte del general. Ya. Pero cuando fuimos a verla hoy había desaparecido. En todo caso, la comisión ha abierto una investigación. Está interrogando a todos los implicados. Les dije que tengan cuidado. Incluso dije al maestro Gonsu que custodiara bien la espada. ¿Sabe él de esto? Fue él precisamente quien denunció el caso. De todos modos, cualquiera que haya asistido ayer a la ceremonia y no tenga una coartada sólida se las considera sospechoso. Los artesanos también mencionaron a una chica que rompió la espada en mano en la comisión de artesanía. Y es la principal sospechosa. Bueno, basta de charla. Pero la comisión de artesanía. Pues nada, a encontrar al culpable. Aquí estamos.
All right, everyone is here. It's time for questioning.
Yunli, I'm sure you understand why the official called you here, right?
Yeah? But I didn't steal the sword.
Yunli me prometió que no robaría la espada.
Unfortunately, official Dahao didn't hear Yunli's promise. If we don't recover the sword, we will be breaking our promise to the Lawfu and betraying the delegation. We're counting on you to find the truth, official Dahao.
Oficial Dahao, contamos con usted para descubrir la verdad.
It's my duty to
Yo me voy a
thoroughly
encargar de todo,
investigate
así
the
que
case.
no te preocupes.
Even though Yunli is firm in her words, we can't just rely on her testimony.
After everything, the sword still got stolen. They should have given it to me from the beginning.
Guarda
In
silencio.
this case of Yu Yun's theft, everyone involved seems suspicious to some extent. Miss Yunli is the main suspect.
Yo no creo que haya sido.
First, during the sword gifting ceremony, Yunli openly expressed her intention to steal the sword. She even mentioned it multiple times. After the ceremony, she broke into the Artisanship Commission
Sí, pero
You
no lo
destroyed the
obtuvo.
Rheumatons in an attempt to get the sword.
Y se fue.
Am I right?
That's true.
The Realm Keeping Commission inspected the arsenal where Gu Yun was stored, and there were no signs of forced entry through the doors or windows. The only possible entrance or exit was a small window gap, just a few inches wide.
Ah, como misterioso asesinato, no olvides
Hey, hey! It's just a theft. The box containing Gu Yun was opened and the sword went missing. But none of the other swords in the room were touched. Which means...
Que sabían que era... Conocía la caja y la espada.
I do know about the box and the cursed sword.
Exactly. The suspect had a clear motive and took only Gu Yun. So, besides the ceremony participants, only the delegation members had access to the sword.
Podría haber sido yo quien robó la espada.
So, did you steal it?
No, no lo hice.
Then stop joking around.
I can prove that he came to me after leaving the Artisanship Commission, so he couldn't have stolen the sword.
Soy inocente.
Put it simply, not everyone who's seen the sword has been to the Artisanship Commission, and not everyone who might want the sword has seen it. So, the only remaining suspect is Miss Yunli.
Fair enough.
So...
I didn't steal the sword.
Well, when you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
No, esta no es la única
If you want to
posibilidad.
prove me wrong, you'd better come up with some solid evidence.
A buscar pruebas.
Let me gather my thoughts. I need to help Yunli clear her name.
El hechizo usado para sellar a Kuyun es toda una delicia para los bellezas radiantes. Real también es una belleza que atrajo su atención no desea. Sin embargo, es una de las únicas pruebas físicas que quedaron en la escena. Así que podría tener rastros de él. Investigar el exterior de la espada es exquisitamente decorado con incrustaciones de metal. Exhibe un patrón de flores de loto. Fácilmente alude a su origen en líos de zooming de su ancestro. El mecanismo de cierre integrado en el estuche parece intacto y se carga de forcejeo ni de manipulación externa.
So, the thief took the sword from the case without picking the lock.
O sea, tendría que tener la llave o saber cómo abrirlo. Abrir el estuche. Es que hay algunas cosas rojas en el fondo del interior del estuche. Es difícil ignorarlas. Es como si estuvieran declarando su existencia de la persona que intenta cerca las cosas rojas de la parte interior. Son pétalos. Tres pétalos al borde de marchitarse. Más precisamente 2 pétalos de rosa.
Why is this flower petal inside the case?
Argenti. Creas el estuche de la espada y lo pones en tu... Argenti. Algo intacta y flores. Vamos a ver si hay algo más. Pavo.
Who could have thought that the Miekaki Vesa would be stolen? And that the prime suspect is General Huayan's granddaughter? Regardless, we've accomplished our mission, and now it's the Xianzhou's problem. By the way, why did that girl call it a cursed sword? It's quite upsetting.
Porque la espada puede controlar la mente del portador. Porque la espada contiene un espíritu.
That's enough, young man. Now let me get something straight. On Kalevala, this sword has always been highly revered. The first master of the Miekaki Vesa slew countless demons and then passed it down to a line of wise monarchs. The monarchs would heed the guidance of the hero spirits within the sword and gain insight into defeating their enemies. What is, Helio? What? Never mind. The point is that the Miekaki Vesa did help the ancestors of Kalevala build a strong foundation. It's definitely not a cursed sword.
A ver. Relativo, ¿no? Yunli. Dame tu
I don't want to
testimonio.
make things difficult for official Dahao. Let's do this his way and prove my innocence. If I can find that cursed sword, I can prove my innocence right away.
No, porque si apareces con la espada, no, eso daría la impresión de que la robaste.
There's something else bothering me. Why would the thief take the sword, but leave the case behind? Did they melt down the sword like I wanted to?
Quizá el estuche era un estorbo.
Yeah, maybe. But if the case was too much trouble,
no sería
wouldn't
extraño
it be
porque
too conspicuous to carry around the sword like that?
es una espada.
In plain sight?
Una espada. La metes en una vaina y ya está. Podría haberla tenido tal y ya está. No hay ningún nada extraño de...
Yes, I received your message yesterday and went to the arsenal to check on it. But when I went back this morning, all that was left was the case. I don't know anything else, so asking more questions won't help, I'm afraid.
Okay.
However, as the Master Artisan of the Artisanship Commission, I've got to clarify something. Even though the sword was stolen, this commission is still highly secure. Wait, no.
No cuestión.
I just remembered. My precious aromatons were smashed.
Vaya. No es tan segura como debería. Y... el último
Yunli says she didn't steal the sword, and I am willing to believe her.
Porque es verdad.
But I know well that Yunli can be impulsive. So if she did steal the sword on a whim, I won't show her any favors. You were with Yunli yesterday, young man. So you have the chance to prove her innocence. Is there anything you need to ask me?
¿Cómo entregaron la espada?
After the ceremony, Argenti carried the sword case, and together with the delegation, they were escorted by the Cloud Knights to the Artisanship Commission. The artisan there confirmed that the sword was safely stored. No, she was still mad at me, so she didn't come by. If she had come with you, she wouldn't be a suspect right now. I'm counting on you then.
Testimonio. Este señor la hemos condajado para solucionar
If
este
you found any clues, feel free to tell
Está
everyone.
revelando. Suena como estática cuando ven los personajes del juego. Pues no sé a qué se debe eso. Yo lo escucho bien. Debería escucharse bien. No sé. No sé por qué pasa eso. Estoy completamente seguro de que Yunli no robó una espada.
Thank you. But I'm not sure if I can convince Mr. Da how.
100% sure. Fine.
Yo lo
Let me
escucho
go
bien
through
en
my
el directo.
reasoning again, and you can interrupt if anything feels off. Throughout the entire incident, there was only one suspect who broke into the Artisanship Commission.
Así que no
That was
sabría
Miss
decirte.
Yunli.
A lo largo de todo este incidente, solo unos sospechos se encabulló en la comisión del examen.
Miss Yunli caused a ruckus at the Artisanship Commission trying to take away Guyun, but you stopped her in her tracks. After bidding farewell to you, Yunli pretended to leave, but snuck into the arsenal alone and stole Guyun. We haven't found any other suspects or evidence.
No sé. No se escucha bien. Bueno. Twitch haciendo cosas de Twitch. Digamos.
Can I prove this?
Throughout the entire incident, Miss
tengo
Yunli,
pruebas
we
aquí.
haven't found any other suspects or evidence.
Tengo otra evidencia.
I found this in the crevice at the bottom of the case.
A rose petal? Huh. I must have missed it during the search. But why was there a petal inside the case?
El culpable es Argenti, de verdad. Lo estoy diciendo en serio.
I don't know. But I do know that wherever that Knight of Beauty goes, he always leaves behind a trail of rose petals that's almost impossible to clean up.
Vaya. Debate terminado. Ha sido
My
rápido.
thoughts are a mess. Let me sort them out. The sword case was never locked, which is evidence that only someone who delivered the sword could have done that. And the rose petal was probably left behind by that Knight of Beauty. But how did he manage to take the sword from the Artisanship Commission? Why did he steal it after returning it here? And why would he leave that petal in the case?
Pregúntale a la gente, a mí, no a mí.
Guyun flew out of the case on its own. The Knight of Beauty only unlocked the box to aid its escape.
Don't be ridiculous. How can a sword escape from a case on its own?
You've never seen a flying sword before?
I've only heard about the Mieka Kifesa being able to fly in legends. But even if it could fly, why would the Knight of Beauty do this?
Like I said, the sword contains a heliobus. Argenti must have been under the control of the sword. Maybe he was under its control even before you arrived on the Lofu.
No lo descarto.
Official Dahao, where can we find that knight?
Let me see. The docking location of Argenti's ship. The one and only.
Let's go. We've got to find Argenti before that sword completely takes over his mind.
Venga, vamos. De una. ¿Por qué no sería tan sencillo como quitarle el heliobús a la espada y dejar la espada como si fuese una espada normal y ya está, en vez de fundirla y todo? Creo que en ese aspecto todos estarían de acuerdo y no habría tanto problema. Aquí está gente. Probablemente tengamos que pegarnos juntos. ¿Por qué hay una silla en mitad de la nada? El hombre condenado a estos que se encuentra con un caballero con armadura. Mejor dicho, él no se encuentra. Día 15 del mes X. 1604. Silla en mitad de la nada.
I've been waiting for you here for quite a while.
Vaya. No, porque Yunli ha dicho de...
You're the one who stole Guyun, right?
Yunli antes ha dicho de quitar...
Hand it over.
Separar al Lebus del arma y fundir el arma.
How dangerous that cursed sword
En ese
is.
orden. La maldición supuestamente es el Lebus.
Dangerous? In my humble opinion, the real danger is always the hand wielding the weapon.
Entonces dejaste el pétalo de rosa en el estuche, bro.
Yes, I did. As a Drilla's knight, I've sworn to live in poverty, and I abhor theft. I had to leave behind a rose petal in order to keep my promise to Master Guyun and uphold my knightly oath.
What? What do you mean?
I agreed to assist Master Guyun in its escape from the Xianzhou. As the person who pulled it from the stone monument, captivated by its beauty, I must not let it down.
Ay, Argent, ¿verdad? Siempre.
I couldn't stay in the arsenal to convince the craftsman, nor did I want to take the sword like a thief. That's why I left behind a small piece of evidence that pointed to my identity, in the hope of an open and honest conversation with you.
Whatever your reasons are, you're planning to take the cursed sword away from the Xianzhou. Hand it over to me!
Back then, it was the beauty of Master Guyun that impressed me, so I willingly embarked on the journey to return the sword. But unfortunately, Master Guyun's homeland is no longer the ideal place for it to return to. As a Knight of Beauty, I must not abandon it halfway.
Oh no. He's completely captivated by the power of that cursed sword. The solution is right in your hand.
Captivated? No, I am touched by Master Guyun's flawless beauty. To be honest, I'm confused why none of you can understand this sword. This is quite heartrending. I've already made up my mind to take Master Guyun away from the Xianzhou.
That cursed sword has messed with your ability to think. But I'll break you free from its grip. I'll shatter its illusion. And the sword itself.
Fair lady, if you're intent on taking away this person, this sword that is under my protection, please engage me with a fair duel according to knightly etiquette. As a representative of this duel, I, Argenti, challenge you.
Representante. Bueno, como no hablo cuando están las voces, tampoco importa mucho, si no, no se escuchan las voces. Quizá me puedo acercar un poco más el micrófono, pero tampoco debería estar.
I swear on the spirit of chivalry,
Qué
in
brilloso.
front of Adrilla the Beauty, that I will represent Master Guyon in this duel. If I win, you will allow Master Guyon to leave the Xianzhou with me. And if you best me, Miss Yunli, I'll accept my defeat and turn Master Guyon over to you. Do you accept my challenge, Miss Yunli?
Fine.
Bueno, pues nada, a darle de hostias
Let's
otra
see
vez a
whose
Argenti.
desire is stronger. Your desire to take it away, or my desire to hunt down all cursed swords. Show me what you've got.
Tío, no sé por qué cada vez que nos encontramos con Argenti nos tenemos que pegar contra él. Todas las veces que este personaje ha aparecido, hemos tenido que dar de hostias.
Well, I know a thing or two about swordplay. In a proper duel like this, a knight should rely on the skills he's honed day and night.
You're a real weirdo.
Hope you're prepared.
Sí, ya veo que quiere demostrar su poder.
A will forged in ice never falters.
Let the duel commence. Put forth all your might. Rise to the challenge.
Is that all?
Nothing major. I weep for the departed.
Eso de que es guapo. Argenti, que le gusta pelear por el poder de la belleza. Sí, sí. No sé, tiene una obsesión muy insana, la verdad.
Memories are beneath the waters lies an endless abyss.
The flesh wound.
Narciso. Ah, no es en sí un narciso.
Eternal step.
Dead return. The flesh wound.
Another journey begins, destined for oblivion.
Sigue a León de la belleza, básicamente. No, no tiene nada que ver con su propia belleza. Sí, con la belleza en general de las cosas.
Is that all?
In the name of a will forged in ice never falters.
Destiny isn't chosen.
No, ¿por qué te pones escudito justo ahí?
It too shall fall.
Me ofendes. Encima le aumenta el daño. Qué triste.
Familiar. On the still waters of oblivion.
What do
Sí,
you want to
me
know?
ofende terriblemente.
This end.
Put forth
Bueno,
all
vamos
your
poquito a poco.
Behold, this symbol of pure.
Is that all?
In the
Vamos a
name
poner
of
otra vez el
land, a
escudito.
will forged in ice never falters.
Destiny is
Rise
You
to the
chose the
challenge.
wrong
Memories
enemy.
are beneath the waters lies an endless abyss.
The flesh wound.
Vamos a aprovechar para
Bloom.
Destiny's hand has
Repay.
truly
poner el
blessed me.
campito de vida.
Destined for
Rise to the
oblivion.
challenge.
I weep for the departed.
Primera vida de Argenti,
It too
ni
shall fall.
quitada. Falta la segunda. Fase
Bear
2.
witness. You're fighting a gentleman.
Hope you're prepared.
No le aumentes el daño. No le pongas barrera.
Confess. Put forth all your might.
Nothing. Eternal step.
Hace pupita el señor ya.
The flesh wound.
Te parecerá bonito. Encima las espaditas están haciendo daño. Todo mal.
On the still waters of oblivion.
Let the duel commence. Put forth all your might.
In the name of Lenda, a will forged in ice never falters.
Menos mal que tengo dos supports, la verdad. Entre Luocha y Gepard.
What do you want to know?
Vamos a quitarle el escudito.
I weep for the departed. It too shall fall.
Ala.
Rise to the challenge.
Grito. Daño. Y este tal. Perfecto.
Behold, this symbol of pure. You're fighting a gentleman.
Todavía.
Destined for oblivion.
No le aumentes el daño.
Pledge thy loyalty. Put forth all your might.
Is that all?
Blue. Bueno,
Destiny's hand
Eternal
is truly
step.
blessed.
Return.
todavía podemos aguantarle, pero
Flesh wound.
llegará un momento en el que me va a matar de un golpe y no va a ser agradable. A ver.
Familiar.
In the name of Len, a will forged in ice never falters.
I underestimated you. Let the duel commence.
El problema es que ataca a todos al mismo tiempo.
Nothing major.
I
Eso
weep
es un
for
gran
the
problema.
departed. It too shall fall.
Venga.
Rise to the challenge.
Creo que ya vamos a terminar. Un par de golpecitos más.
Rise to the challenge.
On the still waters of oblivion.
Destiny is
Ya está. Sí, tengo un equipo un poquito roto. Ya tienen todos los rastros subidos y todo.
I've lost.
Está bastante bien mi equipo.
According to the rules of a knight's duel, I should keep my promise and hand over the sword to you. But before I do that, I hope that you, as the winner, might have the mercy and listen to Master Guyun's past experiences.
This sword has been cursed since the day it was forged. Place it in front of me, and let me destroy it.
Do what she says, knight.
What?
But
You've done so much for me already. It's time for me to face her alone.
Pues sí, si hubieras pasado lo gratis,
I'm weary
madre mía.
of fighting. I just want to share my past with you. To explain why I wanted to escape. After that, I'll leave my destiny in your hands. Are you afraid to witness my past, little girl?
Afraid? Well, you do have a different aura from other cursed swords. But you're just trying to use my curiosity to lure me in.
Well, you know best that a single touch won't snatch away anyone's sanity.
Creo que vale la pena intentarlo, Yunli.
Fine. Show me your past.
Pues venga, vamos al pasado de la espada. A ver, ¿qué nos expone?
It's already impossible to contact the main Cloud Knight forces. What awaits me will be a long and lonely war.
Follow me.
Is this...
¿Es
your
Belobo?
memory?
Esto parece Belobo.
It's so cold here. I didn't feel it when I was in the thick of battle, but now it's freezing me to the bone. You're indeed a masterpiece from the Xianzhou Juming. If you hadn't taken control of my body, I probably would have been decapitated in that fight.
Quiet, and stay alert. Boris and the Wolf Troopers never give up the hunt.
Hey, just relax a bit. It's been over 300 days since we were both stranded on this planet. The transmitter never rings, so I guess we can't count on that anymore. The people on this planet still use beasts to pull their carts. Obviously, there's no way they can help us fix the star skiff. Looks like we're stranded on this forsaken planet for the rest of our lives.
The rest of a Xianzhou native's life could be terribly long. Are you feeling any desperation? All by yourself in this hostile world?
Yeah, a bit. Perhaps.
When things get too rough for you to handle, just leave everything to me. No need to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah, sure. If I really can't handle things anymore,
Bastante sexy, pero me
I'll
falta
leave my
defender.
body to you. But now is not that time.
Do you really think you can oppose an entire Borisan army with your limited skills? What are you holding out for?
It's true that I'm stranded here. But it seems like that Borisan pack is in the same boat. By the way, Guyun, do you know what a seed is? A seed may seem insignificant, but with careful cultivation and time, it can grow into a huge, unwavering tree. You said that the rest of a Xianzhou native's life could be terribly long. You're right. That's why I intend to plant a seed in resistance here, and nurture it for the rest of my life. I want to show the people of this land how to defend themselves against those monsters. I can already see the seed in the eyes of those people.
Oh.
You really think you can do it? Why not just give me control, and we can revel in the bloodbath together?
What was the memory I just saw?
It was a memory of me and a Cloud Knight, stranded on an unfamiliar planet. We crash-landed on a planet occupied by Borisan. Just the two of us.
I can feel that it was a lonely war.
Digamos, pues.
I'm alive. But all the young people in the village...
They died. They died for you. They died because of your big promises. Promising them a life free from the Borisan. I tasted their despair before death. They didn't see it coming. And neither will you.
We can't stay here. Let's move on to the next village.
Why? What's the point? You and your sorry excuse for an army have been fighting for over 3 decades, and you haven't won a single battle. What you're sowing is not resistance, but despair.
Oh,
this world is hopeless. It's completely infested with packs of Borisan. You've seen their numbers, and you know their methods. And those commoners you've put your hopes in. They just kneel down and worship the monsters devouring their children and families, calling them their Beastmasters. You beheaded one of the Beastmasters for their sake, but they turned on you because they were scared of the Borisan taking revenge. You remember all that, right?
I do. I remember my first death. The Borisan cut off my head.
¿Cómo que su primera muerte?
But I also remember that if it weren't for a brave youngster who risked his neck to reattach my head and give me a proper burial, I would have disappeared completely.
What?
I remember everything the people did for me. They left food at the entrance of my cave, fixed my fur coat, and some even joined my resistance.
A ver, espera. ¿En qué momento, si le reimplantan, le cosen la cabeza, se vuelve a levantar? O sea, sé que son de una vida larga, pero ahora son inmortales. ¿En qué momento? Yo me he perdido algo. Porque sé que los de Xianzhou y tal viven mucho tiempo. Pero se mueren también y renacen. ¿Puede ser por la espada? Sí, podría ser por la espada, pero no sé. Es confuso porque no tiene nada que ver con la espada. Porque luego este se murió. Se fue. Porque no sigue vivo, técnicamente. Entonces, la única maldición de la espada es tener el Libus dentro. Y el Libus no creo que pueda revivir gente. Estoy muy confuso en este momento. Pero bueno, veamos a ver cómo sigue.
The Xianzhou native's life is still terribly long, and there will be new youngsters who will stand beside me in battle. Time is on our side.
You said it was a lonely war. No. It wasn't a war filled with loneliness, but with despair. So much despair that I don't want to ever taste it again.
Hombre, pero supuestamente luego lo consiguió.
I'm leaving.
Where are you going, Your Highness?
I'm returning to my homeland. A distant place beyond the sky. I'm not coming back.
But what should we do with you gone? What if those wolf demons show up again?
They won't, my child. You've wiped out the last of them. But before I go, I need you to do one thing for me. Even though the wolf demons are gone, new monsters will appear in this world. Soon, a demon will appear, donning golden branches and knowing only bloodshed. However, fear not, my children. I'm entrusting you with this sword that's been with me in countless battles. Use the skills I've taught you over the years, and you'll surely defeat that last demon.
Que mataron a él mismo.
I need you to construct a stone monument for me. It must be large and sturdy enough to seal the remains of that demon forever. This is a debt you owe me, and you must fulfill it. Do you understand?
You lied to them. And you lied to me, too.
Oh?
You promised that you'd give your body to me when you couldn't handle things anymore.
Well, this Xianzhou native's life has finally come to an end, my old friend. How about one last chance for revenge? Come and bid me farewell for the final time.
He had long since come to some understanding. I could sense a mix of intricate emotions flowing out. It wasn't bloodlust, or anger, or fear. What he had left for you was hope.
They've learned how to fight monsters. But there's still one last monster lingering in the world. Kill it, my old friend. You left me there without ever looking back.
Qué triste. Qué bonito y qué triste al mismo tiempo.
Thank you, my old friend. Heliobi can taste human emotions. How do my emotions taste, my old friend?
passion and a touch of scalding courage. Your heart's deepest desire is to end war once and for all. Now, the war is finally over. Can you hear?
Que no puede
Even
oírlo.
though you can't hear me anymore, my old friend, I'll do everything I can to bring an end to all conflicts in this world.
So, this is the past of the Kalevalan people's Sword of Heroes? You helped the people of that world bring an
No
end
todos
to
los
war?
Zeus son malos.
No, I did not. I am a weapon, and I only became the cause of more conflicts. Countless monarchs of Kalevala saw me as a symbol of kingship endowed by nature, and they waged wars in order to possess me. I grew tired of their wicked intentions. I didn't want to kill for anyone anymore. So I returned to the stone monument where my master was buried. And since then, no one was able to remove me from it.
But you allowed Argenti to take you away?
Because even after all this time, I still wanted my master to come home.
Ay, qué bonita relación tenían los dos, el maestro y la espada. Qué triste, me está dando mucha penita.
During the sword gifting ceremony, I felt anguish when I learned that I would be handed over to the most skilled swordmaster and once again become a tool for killing. My master had engraved his deepest desire into my blade. End war. As a weapon, my purpose was predetermined from the start. I had to become a deadly sword that would relentlessly hack and kill. But once I fulfilled my mission, would I have the right to choose my own destiny like he did? So, I asked the Knight of Beauty to help me break free from this never-ending cycle of bloodshed.
These thousands of years have naturally turned into memories of mine. I think I understand the beauty the knight was talking about now.
I don't want to be a sword that brings death. My war ended long ago. The years spent as a tombstone were my finest.
I've told you everything about my experience with Master Guyan on Kalevala. And now, I'm sure that Miss Yunli is as moved by the sword's flawless beauty as I was back then.
Even though I had heard the legends of this sword from the delegation, delving into its memories was still fascinating. Yunli, I trust Guyan's experiences have changed your mind.
No tenía idea de que esta espada tuviera semejante paso.
It wasn't until I held Guyan in my hands that I could sense its thoughts and unspoken words. I always thought a cursed sword infused with a heliobus would only bring rage and slaughter. I never thought someone could leave behind the desire to end war, and even change the nature of the cursed sword. My position was too extreme. Guyun is truly a sword of heroes. I apologize to all of you for my behavior. I'm sorry.
Now that we've proven Miss Yunli's innocence and found the sword, should we now return it to the arsenal?
No. I'm still going to melt down this sword.
Ok. Oh, Yunli.
I've heard your true desires, Guyun. I can sense that you're tired of being a sword. Constantly serving new masters and fighting battles you no longer want to be part of. Right?
¿Lo puedes fundir en otra
Sword
cosa?
is my destiny. I'm doomed to serve some master and fight battles endlessly. Can the wind choose to stop blowing? Can a cloud choose to stop drifting? No. It's the same for me. A creation with a predetermined destiny.
That's not true, Guyun. That nameless swordmaster shaped his own destiny. So you can too.
I just can't picture my destiny being anything other than that of a sword.
Do you remember when you stood alone in front of the swordmaster's stone monument? People admired you because you carried the memories of the hero. You are no longer a sword. You were a memorial.
Later, as I became worn and weathered, the gentle wind would pass through the hollows of my body, creating melodic tones that echoed in the distant mountains. I became a musical instrument then. I miss those times.
Can a creation become what it wants to be? The answer is yes. I'll grant your wish, Guyun, and transform you into something different.
Something different?
But this is the price for the war dance. If the Kalevalan delegation finds out... Please, say something to Ryan.
Well, my granddaughter has always been stubborn. Are you really sure about this, Yunli?
What do you all think?
Deberías preguntarle la espada, Guyun.
Fulfilling Master Guyun's wishes is the reason I came to the Xianzhou. With the driller's blessing, you could turn Master Guyun into a plow. But as long as it fulfills his wish to end war, I support it fully.
Then, I'll leave it to you, Yunli.
Por último, se dirige a la armería de la ventana de la comisión de artesanía para uso del oro.
It's been an honor getting to know you like this.
The honor is mine. Thank you, Yunli.
Why the long face, my child? Are you feeling regret, perhaps? You were completely determined when melting down the sword, so why the sudden change of heart?
Grandpa, I melted down the prize for the war dance. How are you going to explain this to the Lawfu?
Oh? Am I hearing right? This little girl is worried about her grandpa. Didn't see that coming.
If only I'd talked to you from the beginning, Grandpa. Maybe things wouldn't have escalated like this.
Probablemente no hubiese llegado a este
At
punto.
least Guyun got what it wanted. I have no regrets there.
When it comes to swords, you You and your father are cut from the same cloth. So, are you planning to continue melting down the rest of Hongguang's swords?
Yeah. Guyan is unique. But the other cursed swords are still too dangerous for anyone to handle. But maybe I'll try to be more patient next time.
Be more patient. Well said. Remember what you learned today, because there will be many more situations in the future that will require you to be more patient.
Understood. But what about the prize?
Well, ever since you showed up at the ceremony, I had a hunch. So I prepared another sword as a backup plan. And don't worry, this one has nothing to do with Heliobi.
That's perfect.
By the way, the ambassador from Kalevala and that knight went to Arum Alley. They're looking for a spot to honor the hero. Why don't we go take a look together?
Vamos. A despedirnos del gran héroe. Qué bonita la historia, de verdad. Mira, han puesto aquí el arbolito.
Oh, General Huayan. What brings you here?
Well, my granddaughter was inspired by the heroic legends told by the Mieka Kibesa, so she dragged me here to take a look.
Este brote dorado.
I come from a long line of Kalevalan monument keepers. For generations, my family has guarded the stone monument left behind by the nameless hero. Over the centuries, a golden tree sprouted from under the monument, and its branches have never withered. We Kalevalans see it as proof of the hero's existence. Before leaving Kalevala, I took a branch from that golden tree, hoping to plant it here to represent the hero returning to his homeland.
That sounds good. We Xianzhou people don't make coffins or set up memorials, so I'm sure he would be happy to rest here where life is bustling.
The hero had asked our ancestors to carve something into the monument, so I made a copy of it too. While the inscription is pretty worn with age, perhaps you can still make out some of it.
I have drifted far from my homeland and am on the brink of death. Yet, I take solace in having honorably fulfilled my duties. Should you feel compassion for me, kind traveler, please take a handful of soil hence and bring it back to the Lawfu. Mr. Pavo, I wonder if that hero ever left a name in your history.
I apologize, but the hero's epic battles happened long ago, and he did not leave any name for us to call him. But in our mythology, he came from the heavens, and so we call him the Cloud Knight.
Welcome home, Cloud Knight.
Now, you can also rest here, Guyan.
Se han transformado en un momento. Qué bonito. Me dicen 1000 créditos ya. Qué bonita la historia. Me gusta mucho. La verdad. Ay. Ah, gracias. Esto es nada. Vamos a dar un saltito a ver si conseguimos. Lo dudo, pero... ¿por qué no intentarlo? Siempre hay que intentarlo. Gacha. Una tiradita al gacha, pero no nos va a tocar. ¡Oh! ¡Conseguimos al furro! Nada de 4 estrellas tampoco. ¡Conseguimos al furro! Provoca chancla, tal cual, tal cual. Y hago ahí una P. ¡Conseguimos al furro! A ver, furro, ¿dónde estás? ¡Conseguimos al furro! Nada, perfecto, oye. Bien, no pude conseguir a Jade. Conseguí al furro. Pues por ahora, o sea, a Yunli y a este sí, pero luego a Luciérnaga y a Jade no. Muy feo todo.
Square formation, circular formation.
Yo es que perdí el 50-50 con Jade. Con Jade.
What should we try next?
Perdí el 50-50 con Jade. Y eso me jodió mucho porque yo sí que quería Jade. Todo mal. Porque yo siempre tiro al que esté en el ban. Si es nuevo, siempre tiro para el que esté en el ban. En el banner. ¿Qué es esto? Formación recomendada de que horas engañosas. Oh. ¿Me pone informaciones recomendadas ahora? Yo la quería, pero no la tengo. Qué triste. Estoy sad. Bueno, nada. Nos quedamos aquí. Con el furro. Conseguimos al furro, señores. Conseguimos al furro. Y bueno, espero que te dé tiempo a conseguir alguna tiradita más y que te toque Sparkle, ¿no? Tocará... Será complicado antes de que el cambien. ¿Cuántos días quedan? 12 días. Sparkle 10 tengo para Feixiao. Nada. Yo es que siempre que tengo 10 tiro. Y si toca bien y si no también. Y a Sparkle ya la tengo. De la primera vez que lo pusieron. Entonces... Nunca tiro por los conos de luz, la verdad. Debería, pero no lo hago. Porque coleccionismo de personajes es lo que tiene. ¿Dónde se podían ver los que te quedaban en archivos? Sí, personajes. 44 a 53 tengo. Últimos que tengo. Pero nada. Me quedan algunos. Lucierna, que no la tiré por ella y no la pude obtener. Tristemente. Desde el permanente que todavía no me ha tocado. Bueno, pues has obtenido bastante. Puedes llegar. Es que depende mucho. Porque claro. Si has empezado a jugar hace poco, entonces tienes muchas cosas que hacer. Tienes muchísimas cosas que hacer y muchos jades que puedes conseguir. El problema es que cuando ya lo tienes todo hecho, no puedes conseguir casi jades, solo puedes conseguir los jades en los eventos que hacen. Si no, tienes que pagar. Y pagar no se va a pagar nunca en este. Así que ahí estamos. Consiguiendo poco a poco. Y me falta jade. Jade. Me faltan poquitos, la verdad. Porque vamos a mentir. En comparación a los que tengo, me faltan poquitos. Claro. Yo es que ya tengo todos los cofres. Todos los bosses. Los libros no. A lo mejor no tengo todos los libros. Sí que tengo unos logros estos de conseguir los libros y tal. Bueno, yo te deseo suerte en ello y me voy a despedir por aquí. Vamos a dejar por aquí el directito. 2 horas de directo, no está mal. Pero es hora de irme a la cama a dormir, que mañana hay que madrugar. Ánimo, ánimo. Ánimo con ello, yo te apoyo. Y nos veremos mañana. Mañana técnicamente tenemos Stardew Valley. Lo tendríamos hoy, pero hoy me dijo puntitos que lo podemos pasar a mañana. Así que mañana tenemos Stardew Valley. Y el jueves no sé qué haré con mi vida, así que ya veré. vemos mañana. Adiós.